Hi, everybody. Mr. Gowerluck here, and it's science time. One of the things that has happened in the state of Minnesota is that the prairie that used to be there, that used to be covering most of our state, is really pretty much gone. We have cities, concrete, tar, homes, you're here, I'm here, dogs, things like that that have um, basically covered up the prairie. We've lost millions and millions of acres just from 200 years ago or less. Um, so the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up to Canada, used to have all sorts of different prairie lands and prairie areas, basically seas of grassland, flowers, different types of soil, different types of things in the soil. Now a lot of that has changed. What I'd like to talk to you about is this little simulation called How to Build a Prairie. And so what we're going to do is we have this blank area on the screen, just very blank, and we are going to fill in some of the best prairie grasses that would be native to what we had in Minnesota. Now, if you've done any reading about the kinds of prairie grasses that have been in Minnesota, you'll know that there's very tall grasses that basically covered the state. And by tall, I mean about my height. Now, I'm over 6 feet tall, and some of these grasses were even higher than that. So I'm going to add some Indian grass and some porcupine grass. I'm going to add some Canada wild rye and some big blue stem. I'm not going to go with quackgrass because I know from my experience with working with just my lawn, that's a short type of grass that's, I don't know, it's a nuisance. It's an invasive kind of species. And smooth brome, I don't know. We'll see if I end up choosing the four correct ones without even reading. I should have read this first. Wow, it said good work. These grasses will do well in the tall grass prairie and watch them grow. Oh boy, I think I did okay. Your prairie soil is also suitable for plants called forbs. Now, why am I growing and why am I putting a prairie out in front of you right now? I want to talk to you about a word called biodiversity. Biodiversity, bio meaning things from nature and different types of things that grow, but diversity meaning obviously not all the same. A difference, many differences. So, in order to have a biome that can sustain itself or an environment that can survive over the long term, it's really important to have a mixture or a diversity of the types of living things in that environment. If you have all the same kind of grass and all the same kind of animal or all the same kind of bug, well, if a disease comes along, wipes them all out and there's nothing left of that bug or of that grass or of that animal, which means that if one of those things is missing, the other things probably will die because they will not be able to have that part of the food chain plugged in by anything else if there isn't a diversity of different types of creatures out there. All right, so now I have to pick 4 forbs to plant. I'm going to take a guess. And I just, for sake of time, I'm not reading this through, but I'm taking the 2 purple ones. We'll just say it's for the Vikings. We're going to take blue because Mr. Long likes the blue color, I think. And then, let's see. I'm not going to go with the jewel weed. I'm not going to go with the orchid, although I want to because it looks cool. The leafy spurge just sounds funny. No, I'm going to go with the orchid. We'll see what happens here. Good work. Oh my goodness. First choice on both of those. I planted the right thing. Oh, that is pure luck. These forbs will create a healthy and beautiful prairie. Watch them grow. And by the way, you can build a prairie on your Chromebook if you ever want to. There's a web link I can put in into the notes of this. The forbs and grasses need about 3 years to mature. Now it's time to bring birds to the prairie. Birds depend on food and shelter provided by prairie plants. Which birds will you establish in the prairie? Well, I don't think I'm ready for a bald eagle yet. I think I'm going to put in a common snipe. I love prairie chickens because they taste like chicken. I'm going to try the western meadowlark. I know that a mallard is a duck and needs water, and we're not near water. Bald eagles like to be in very tall trees near water, too. Northern harrier. Okay, let's see how I do on this one. Great choices. Oh my goodness. I swear I haven't played this game before. Maybe I have. Okay. These birds will thrive in the tall grass prairie. Many prairie birds roost and nest deep inside the tall grasses. And look at the picture here. Isn't that amazing? Mammals. All right, it's mammals time. That means there's birth given. It's not like eggs or things hatched from eggs. They're live. Mammals are successful in living here. There are many grazers which eat grasses and forbs, and burrowers. Burrowers meaning they dig holes. So I have to find critters that will dig holes. They can live underground for protection from predators and extreme weather. Well, I'm definitely going to go with the ground squirrel, which sure looks like a gopher. The black-footed ferret, I think, is a ground deal. The meadow vole, absolutely. Coyotes, I don't think dig holes. Red fox, I don't think dig holes. They might have a den. But that doesn't mean like they're going under the ground like a black-tailed prairie dog would. Let's see how I do on this one. I have a good feeling about this. What? Hold on. What? Some of these aren't good choices? Are you sure about the prairie dog and black-footed ferrets? Prairie dogs would find the grasses too tall. Oh no, I made my first mistake, and black-footed ferrets would rather inhabit the short grass prairie. Well, I told you about the dens earlier. Maybe I was supposed to pick those because of that whole den thing. Let's see. Hold on. Black-tailed prairie dog, black-tailed prairie dog. Let's see. I wasn't supposed to pick the black-tailed prairie dog, was I? I'm supposed to pick the 13-lined ground squirrel. Please, please, please help me get this one right, computer. Yes, good job. These mammals will do well in the tall grass prairie. Meadow voles and 13-line ground squirrels love to munch on grasses and forbs. Both also build networks of underground pathways. These underground pathways are insulated against the snow during the harsh winter. Although the red fox and Hi, Luna, how are you? Although the red fox and coyote are abundant on the tall grass prairie, these nocturnal hunters are rarely seen during daylight hours. Okay, we need some amphibians and reptiles. Toads burrow themselves into prairie soils, and some snakes slither through tall grasses. All right, I think we need a racer. Oh, I don't want a poison arrow frog. No way. I want a northern leopard frog. Hold on. Yeah, I want a plant garter snake and a Great Plains toad. Do I want a prairie skink? I don't even know what a prairie skink is. Oh boy, something about this is making me think I might be making a mistake. I'm gonna just bring these in and see what happens. Please. I made excellent choices. Woohoo! You should reconsider racers. They prefer a short grass dry prairie. Okay. Consult the field guide for a more appropriate species, then choose. What? I made a mistake. All right, I'm going boom, 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 and boom. Come on now. You can do it. Let me have all my choices. Because I don't want to bring in a poison frog. All right, these will do well in tall grass prairie. I did it. Although northern leopard frogs are often found at the edges of prairie wetlands in winter and the bottom of ponds, they can also be found in prairies in summer. Alrighty, it's insect time because in order for this all to work, we need some food. We need some things that also can continue to keep the food chain and the biodiversity of our prairie going. Insects are small but vital. They come to your prairie under their own power, but you may not want all the bugs which come. Which 4 insects would you like in your tall grass prairie? Well, I absolutely want some bumblebees, because I think they help spread the pollen and help or pollinate plants. I think I definitely want some monarch butterflies. I don't know what a cabbage butterfly is, but oh boy, do I want grasshoppers? I don't know. I think I will try grasshoppers just because I see so many of them. I don't know if I want a beetle. I don't think I want these beetles. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm going to try another butterfly just because they always talk about butterflies being, important and good for the biodiversity of an ecosystem. Good guesses, but you should reconsider your choice of the cabbage butterfly. This beetle was imported from Europe in the 1800s and caused serious damage to prairie grasses and plants. In other words, that is an invasive species. So I don't want that, but I do want to go back to a grasshopper, a monarch butterfly, a bumblebee, and I'm going to go with the 7-spotted lady beetle. I don't know if I'm right. We'll find out. With my luck, I probably have to put the blister beetle in there. Yep, this beetle, the 7-spotted lady beetle, was brought in the 1970s, also known as a ladybug, to control aphids, but it eats native prairie insects as well. So let's go back to what we had before and add the blister beetle, which I don't know why I didn't want to add the blister beetle. It just didn't seem right. Okay. Well, anyway, you'll notice that my prairie is now really, really full of different critters. It's amazing. After several years, some weeds have started to take residence. And there's a thick layer of debris under your plants. Uh-oh, we don't want weeds. We don't want that. We probably need to do something with our prairie. I can't go out there with a rake, can I? What will you do? Well, I better click on that to find out what I will do, because I don't know what to do. Okay, what will I do? After consulting with local and state conservation and management experts, you have decided that you have to do a prescribed burn. Are you telling me that fire is kind of a normal, natural thing? Apparently it is. Well, in this day and age, we don't like fire because fire burns down houses. Fire ruins properties. But back in the day, you didn't have so many properties. You didn't have to worry about all these things that people owned. It was just natural land and vegetation out there. So fire was a natural occurrence. As in the case of forests, fire can actually rejuvenate a prairie and keep it healthy. It's the one tool that's used today by agencies that manage native and restored prairie lands. So with biodiversity, almost every part of it is controlled by something else. Okay. Obviously, if you have a fire, some things are going to die, and that's just a sad truth. It's kind of the way things function with a biodiverse ecosystem, is that one thing will eat another, which another thing will come in and eat that. So living and death are all a part of that. Now, as I talk about biodiversity, I can also talk about biodiversity in water, in lake ecosystems. All right. So right here, if you look at this picture, you can see all sorts of little things, but then all sorts of large things. Okay. So in a lake or on a prairie, we have a number of things that show, we have a number of types of ecosystems that show that you have many things relying on one another to make life work. And if you have too many things, let's say you have too many of those foxes, or too many of those snakes, or even too many of those butterflies, they can do damage to the other things, and there needs to be a balance. Okay, so one thing we need to learn in our biodiverse types of ecosystems is we need balance. Now, getting back to what I've built already, I've put in a kind of soil and a kind of seed. But I think the next step would be what? Probably adding different kinds of seeds. And then when I eventually add a critter, I probably just don't want to stick with one critter. I'm guessing I'll want a variety. And you can help me with that by giving me ideas. Okay. So I want to thank you for sticking with this video and watching it with me and through my mistakes, but through my successes and cheering me on when I did well. That really got me right here. And I thank you for watching that because that made me feel great. As we go on, you'll know that this is the perfect time to look at fall colors and to take a little side trip checking out some of the beautiful forest land in Minnesota. If we had the exact same kind of tree all over the state, we wouldn't have this amazing picture of the reds and the golds and the browns and the greens and the yellows. And it's just amazing what we have in Minnesota. We're very, very fortunate. All right, with that all said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.